Hello YouTube, this is DarkOn633, and today I'm bringing a review of the LEGO Bionicle 2015 Kulta the Skull Grinder versus the Mask Maker, also known as Ekimu. Now, originally I was going to do some Bionicle reviews in the past, but I just never got a chance to actually do the reviews of the Toa and at least one of the Guardians that I did end up getting. So I decided I was going to do it for one of the new sets, if I managed to find one, which I actually did a couple of days ago. Now, just to get this out of the way, the set is 171 pieces, and it retails for around $30. I found this at Toys R Us, and I'm pretty sure Targets have yet to get a hold of it. So if you're interested, best bet to check out your local Toys R Us, or maybe the LEGO store if you want to get this as soon as possible. But I have to admit, over the years, since I've been a big Bionicle fan, unfortunately I haven't been able to read any of the books and so on, but I have followed up in the promotional videos that were on Bionicle.com, and as well as watch the movies that were released during the time. It was a bit of a shame that Bionicle took a break for a while, but thanks to Hero Factory, for those who don't know, was actually going on for a while, and with Hero Factory, LEGO found a way to perfect the molds onto the sculpts of the pieces to attach and everything, since, especially in the later years of Bionicle, it was known to be quite fragile in a lot of the figures, since the quality of plastic was going down, and it was definitely showing that it was a bit cheap on some parts. So it was a bit of a shame that some of the later designs had some of the most unique and awesome designs, but the plastic itself wasn't the best quality. But now I have happily be able to say that the quality is actually quite good on these new figures. And I actually will be doing a little size comparison with the other figures in this review as well. Anyways, we spend enough time talking about them, we'll take a look at them. But first, we'll take a look at the box. The box is, so far, the most unique of the sets, since, if I remember correctly, at this moment in time, the most expensive set of the new wave is actually this set. All the other sets are either $15 to $20, and even $10 if you're talking about the Guardians. I know there's going to be more sets coming out, especially with the rumors that have been spotted throughout the last couple of months. But right now, this is the part of the newest wave, so it's actually pretty cool. The box, it shows a pretty good look at the Skull Grinder versus Ekimu here. Well, it doesn't actually say Ekimu on the box, it just says Mask Maker, but he is indeed the Mask Maker. And what the best part of the set, personally, I think, is that it actually comes with the Mask of Creation. Shows a little bit there. And it also shows the combinations like in the older days, where they actually went ahead and did combinations with a lot of sets. Looks like this set is actually a combination of the Scorpion, which I actually forget the name at the moment. This set's become this weird amalgamation thing. What's cool is that the boxes I've seen actually have these tiny little comic strips. And the same thing goes for the instruction booklets inside the box as well. I'm going to quickly take it out to show. The little comic that was in front here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so that pretty much just continues from there. I'm pretty sure I might continue in the back. No, it actually doesn't. But that's pretty much it for the box and its contents. Now we'll go on to the figures itself, so I'm just going to quickly take this out of the way and have a little look at the figures themselves. First, we'll look at Ekimu, since he's the smaller of the two. We're going to put Skull Grinder to the back. And what's cool about the new Bionicle sets is that they actually have this gimmick where if you press the little lever on the back of their heads, some of the older figures did it too, but I think these ones work a lot better. And then it just pops off. So we're just gonna plug this back on for now. And go on with a little comparison between the other Guardians, just to show little size comparisons between them. I'll be back. And here he is compared to the Protector of the Jungle. Now, as you can see, it's mostly the same mold. Obviously, being different is the cast of plastic is different, since this is a translucent blue versus the standard orangey yellow that this figure has. Now, obviously, the other parts that are new are the armor pieces and the weapons. Now, I really like the weapon that they gave Ekimu, since it's based on his hammer that he used in the shorts. And it can also be used as a blaster, so it's kind of interesting. It does fire by turning it, but I don't want the studs to fire since it's actually a pretty good spring there. It's actually quite surprising how good the spring is, and I don't want to lose the parts here. It does also come with this saw blade shield thing, which is cool because when you turn this, it actually turns the shield as well. So that's really cool that it actually does that. Now, what's also cool about this set is that it actually comes with the stand for the Mask of Creation. Now it just attaches from the side like this. There isn't any other like tight grip or anything. As you can see, it kind of flops a bit, so that's pretty much it for that. But what you can do is remove the mask here, and then put on the Mask of Creation, and now Ekimu is ready for battle. Now, articulation-wise, it's quite simple articulation, but it also gets kind of hindered thanks to some of the designs. His shoulders are on ball joints. His head isn't a ball joint, but a lot of the back pieces get in the way, so it's not that articulated. He does have a ball joint here as well, but it does have a gimmick where when you pull this gear, it can slam down as well, so that's really cool. His arms also are on ball joints. Same thing with his wrists. He doesn't have any waist articulation, but he does have full movement outward. He can bend at the knee, and his feet can pivot, so it's pretty well articulated despite the small scale that he's built in. Anyways, we'll now take a look at the Skull Grinder next. And here's a look at the Skull Grinder. Now, the Skull Grinder actually is about 9 inches tall. I forgot to say, the Ekimu is around the no more than like the 5 to 6 inch range. So, Skull Grinder is actually quite tall. Just to compare it with some of the older figures that are released earlier between, if I remember correctly, late last year into this year. We have the $20 range of tall, which is Tahu here. He's just somewhat the same height. It's a little bit odd how it looks like. I'm not quite sure who's taller, which is a little shorter, but they're about the same range. And here he is compared with a $15 Toa, which is here as Toa Liwa, since they are a bit on the smaller scale. And he's definitely taller than the $15 range, so he's around the $20 set, which is pretty good for a villain. Anyways, we're now going to take him to the side. And now we're going to look at the Skull Grinder. Now, the Skull Grinder's casting is very ominous black and red translucent plastics, and he looks really nice. I really like the design of the character. Now, he does have a similar gimmick like Ekimu, but his is double geared, so he could slash with his sword and his spear at the same time, so he does that kind of deal. He does retain the mask gimmick, so just to show how it looks like underneath. And it's cool is that these are separate pieces that are slightly articulated in the way that they're designed here. Just going to put this back. And then go on to the full-on other points of articulation. His shoulders are on ball joints, which allow full movement all around. It does have a single elbow joint, but it can go all the way back in the way that the ball joint's designed. It can kind of pivot just a bit, but not too much. His wrists are fully ball jointed, so it can allow full movement around. He doesn't have any waist articulation, but he does have really good hip movement, and also really good knee joints, and it can kind of turn a bit just the way that it's designed. And it also has good range of movement in the feet. So I have to admit, they have very nice designs, and their articulation is really good. Now overall, I think this is definitely a worthwhile set for around $30. Any more, it's kind of more expensive. So I have to say that the $30 range is pretty much the spot on price point. So you're pretty much getting a $20 figure and a $10 figure, since it kind of evens out with the price of the protectors. Now, I think this is definitely a worthwhile get. If you find it at Toys R Us, maybe Target's eventually. Target should be getting this eventually at one point, but I think it's definitely a really good set. Sorry about the camera there. And I really look forward to the other sets once they've finally been able to get a hold of it. I did see the other sets from the recent wave of the villains, but I wasn't able to afford any of the others, so I decided to get with this set, since not only did it contain the Mask Maker, but it was actually one of the only two of the shelf, so I decided to pick it up, and I think it's definitely worth the $30 price that I paid. Anyways, please comment or subscribe, and check me out on Hirotaku for the latest in hero news, since we're with the heroes. Also, check out the Gideon blog, which is associated side with Hirotaku as well. Also, check out the WRW podcast in the link below. Check me out on Twitter under Darkon633, and don't forget to comment or subscribe. Also, please check down the other channels down below, and it'll be nice for you to support them. But anyways, I'll see you YouTube. Bye.